Well, I've owned this Mountain Hardware tent for, I don't know, I think 10 years, maybe more. I got it from Kevin McGowan at the Issue Room in Knowles, at Knowles, Inlander. And he had a bunch of them, and he was getting rid of them. They had never been used. He thought they would make great base camp tents for climbing sections. And then he decided that he didn't want them. So I purchased this one. It was an incredible price. Even for 10 years ago, it was incredible. And I really like it, but it's taken me 10 years to learn to set it up. And I think I've got this set up. And it's awesome. You can see inside, it would definitely sleep 4 people easily with gear. It's called it's a Mountain Hardware 4 Corners tent. I'm gonna look to see if they still sell it. I kind of doubt if they do. Right now I have it set up without the fly on top, and I'm gonna put that on next because we're supposed to get thunderstorms in the area in a bit. But right now it's not cloudy at all. Matter of fact, the area is suffering a drought, and just south of us in Florida, it's a severe drought. But anyway, I wouldn't mind if it did rain. I'm going to be here for a few nights, exploring around Manatee Springs. Maybe 4 nights, but I'm thinking it'll probably be 2 nights, and then I'm going to head up towards the Smokies and do some backpacking, because for the last week I've done very little and physically, and heaven forbid, I think I'm getting out of shape. So anyway, I'll set this up and then I'll shoot a little bit more once I get the fly shelter on top. It's a great car camping tent, and as crazy as it sounds, if I worked a winter course, I might have a nice young strong person carry this for us, and the instructors could have a pretty incredible first night and second night. And I think everybody would hate me on a winter course for even suggesting it. Anyway, that's my thought. Okay, I have the fly on, and it's all battened down. It looks like there's a thunderstorm coming, and I moved in already. And as I said earlier, I like this shelter. I wouldn't call it any tent bomb-proof, but I think it would withstand some pretty adverse conditions. In the winter, you'd have to sweep it off occasionally, like a lot. And high winds, has a high profile, so it might not do too well under high winds either. But who knows, maybe it would. I think it would do as well as any base camp I've seen, base camp tent in the Himalayas. And it's probably a lot cheaper than some of the other large base camp tents I've seen. This is an interesting poll showing the flood levels in the years. 1948 was pretty bad. It was probably a foot over my head. And the river is 1/8 of a mile from this location, even though there's swamps all around. And this is at Manatee Springs State Park. And we're about 30 miles, 40 miles from the Gulf of Mexico. So floods coming up here, or tidal floods, or the river flooding, that's pretty significant. I'm walking out in the evening on the boardwalk again, and I just love this walk. It's kind of funny, I was thinking about it, state parks in Florida, I really like them. They have showers, a lot of amenities. But it kind of reminds me of my youth, of all places, growing up in the Midwest and going to some of the state parks there to go fishing and swimming. And the summertime, it was so much fun. And it's just incredible to think at my age now, I'm kind of reliving that by going to a state park in Florida in some ways. But also I know that I find it so intriguing because of the wildlife, the flora, the fauna is so unique. And also going through a Colorado winter, it's always nice to end it with a lot of warmth. Now it's a little bit warmer than I anticipated. The temperatures have been rather warm. Yesterday it was close to 90 degrees, just a little over 30 Celsius, which I always say 30 Celsius is my limit. Right down there, oh, there's a turtle. Down on the bottom of the creek. Yep, the wildlife is pretty spectacular. When I first came here to Manatee Springs State Park, it was 3 years ago, this coming May, and it was a much, much cooler in spring. And I was surprised to see a manatee here that time of year because it was late. And then when I came here 2 years ago, when Tim and I paddled the Swanee River, we also saw manatees, and that was probably about April, I think around the 12th or 13th. So about a week earlier than this year. But this year's much warmer, they're saying, and the manatees have all left. Anyway, that's what they've told me, that they've all left. And they've gone out to the ocean, and I won't see any. And I believe them because the water is warm. The daytime temperature is warm. But it wouldn't surprise me if I saw one, and every time I come down, I'm looking for them. But if that is true, this would be the first time I visited here without seeing a manatee.